Okay, I have Seth here, and I have my recorder ready for memories about Jeff Labrum or things like it. Go ahead.
Okay, so um, things I remember about Jeff. So, you know, I do remember, I mean, when I was little, like back when we lived in Utah and I was probably 4 to 8 years old, I remember Jeff's deep laugh. He had a very distinct laugh and deep laugh
Yeah.
uh, that when as a kid we're kind of running around. I remember him not being. I mean, Mark was always the loud one. Everyone else was kind of loud, but if you really told something funny, you knew something was funny, and it was a good joke if Jeff was laughing. So I do remember that. I remember his laugh was very distinct and unique, and I remember always. So if you knew if you were in the room, and even up until, I mean, a few years back, you knew if you knew you told a good story or something good when he laughed, because he didn't just laugh at anybody. He laughed when it was good. He laughed when it was a good joke, and he thought it was actually funny. He wasn't giving you sympathy laugh. So I remember that distinctly ever since I was a little kid. A few other things about Jeff I do remember is um, I remember I think it was the first time I actually went on a plane. There was a BYU Junior Day, and I got invited, and Jeff basically he decided to sponsor my trip. And I remember that uniquely because that was the first time I went on a plane. Was the time that Jeff decided to help out um, and kind of sponsor me, and I think he was there. I think he came and watched me in the BYU Junior Day, and he was very actively involved, and as he has always been. And that's one thing I was telling you, Dad, right before, but is another big thing is when I was on the team at BYU, Jeff knew the team better than I knew the team. And I knew the team pretty well. I was with them 6 hours a day. But Jeff would be like, hey, so I heard Chris had an anterior tibiofibular ligament tear in grade 2 and is out for 3.5 weeks. And it's the guy, he's like my buddy that I know I talk to every day. And I didn't even know that. But Jeff
Huh.
just knew every in and out of everybody. He knew all the recruits. He was so invested in BYU athletics, in particular sports, and he was so supportive. And I remember him just being, we would go to dinners up there, and he would come and watch me, and he was just extremely supportive of my journey while I was there. And even I had a talk with him, probably a half hour to an hour talk when I was deciding on what to do in medicine and whether or not I should play football. And coming from someone like him who is BYU football through and through, for him to kind of give some reflect on where I'm at and my journey into medicine and kind of if I'm able to do that and play football and all that. And he gave me advice that, you know what, it's not, he gave me very sound advice that it's not like it, because I talked about Grandpa Mary and I was like, well, he was a doctor and he was able to do football and do all that. And so I talked to Jeff about that, and he gave me, I remember it vividly or distinctly, his advice, and his advice was, it's medicine and football, and everything these days is not how it was when Marion was there. Um, it is, and he just talked about how difficult it is to get into medicine now, and how much time and how much time it takes to be a college football player, and how much time that takes away. And so he was just realistic in his advice, and it was very, I appreciated it, and he helped me feel at peace with my decision to not continue to play. And that wasn't the only reason. There was a lot of other reasons, but he gave me some direction at the time in my life that I felt was very needed, and advice that I was looking for. And I appreciated his unbiased opinion, as much as you think he could be biased and be like, hey, no, you should play football because he loves BYU sports so much, and having a nephew be on the team was probably fun to have that, but he was able to take a step back and give it sound advice without letting that cloud his mind, and I appreciated that. We had many dinners over there, Steph and I, when we first got married, and we went up in the Draper house, and Jeff and Kathy, they were always so welcoming and always appreciated when we came. They did not expect us to come, but would always just do anything and everything when we were there and to make us feel welcome. So, I mean, those are kind of the core things I remember of Jeff, just being so supportive and always kind of even killed. He never went. He was even killed a few times. That's why his laugh, you knew, is sincere, because he had this funny personality about him where you kind of tell stories, and then you would just laugh, and then he would just keep laughing. And then you keep saying something, he'd just keep laughing again. And I'm sure Mark was perfect at egging him on, but I just remember that. And he would almost maintain the room's like laughter and comedic, I don't know, relief, because just because his laugh, because like not everyone has a distinct laugh, because if you tell a joke and someone laughs like that, it kind of gives you energy, and he kind of gave energy to the room with how he laughed. And I don't know why. It's funny, Dad, when you just asked me to start sharing a memory, that as you were just introducing like me and like just telling the stories, that just popped up. I was like, you know what? I remember his laugh. I remember his laugh. You asked me like before this, like think about the memories. But right as you were saying that, that's what kind of really set him apart, and kind of some of the memories I thought of. So I know this is going on long, but those are kind of like the key core memories I remember of Jeff. Just always being so genuine and kind and interested.
That's great.
And genuinely interested in like my well-being and my future, and it wasn't there was no motive behind his actions other than, hey, I want to help you out, and I'm interested in you as an individual. And so, and that's that story about him and him giving me advice illustrates that, because like I said, if you're so into BYU football and you have a relative that's on the team, I mean, you would think I got a lot of relatives that were pushing me to play football and continue to play. And I think I won't say it, maybe for whatever reasons they want to. It's exciting to have someone that you know on the team. So, but it was a lot. It was really hard to be on the team. It was a lot of work. And Jeff, I think, was able to see that, and he was able to look through like maybe what kind of is neat to him and what means a lot to him, and he put that aside, and he gave me the advice that he thinks that I needed and was good for that moment, regardless of what it made him feel like. It was like, this is the advice that Seth wants and needs. And so, Dad, you've been like that too. I appreciate it, but it's something I actually see in Jeff too. I saw it
Yes.
in Jeff, and he was very good at that. He provided sound, solid advice, as unbiased as you can get, and he was genuine in the advice. He never tried to like get out of things because it's inconvenience. He would go the extra mile, and so, yeah, those are kind of my memories. I'm glad I was able to kind of share those. Hopefully Kathy's able to get these.
Yeah, I'll try to send these to her right away. We'll see whether we do it by
Recording.
Yeah, by the recording or text. But when you were saying that, I heard him laugh. I can hear his.
I can hear. I know. I was saying that. It's not a deep laugh. It's like I can't. It's just this.
I don't know how to.
It gets this loud kind of. It's kind of a little higher pitcher initially, and then it gets kind of continues.
Mom's in the background saying she can hear it too.
It just goes, and it's just so good. And the thing that was great about it is and Mark and him were just two peas in a pod because Mark
Oh,
would just
Mark.
tell his stories. And Mark would just, and I remember this. You probably remember it a lot more because you were around it all the time and you were older.
Yeah.
But even as a kid, I'm a kid and I'm remembering this. Like, I'm a little kid and I'm remembering and hearing this. And Mark's telling, like, jokes, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but obviously Uncle Jeff knows what's going on, and he thinks it's hilarious. And I just remember, and then it would just keep going, and Mark, it would egg Mark on.
Yeah.
It's almost like
Yeah.
an egg on to continue, like, telling
Mark
jokes.
Mark gets a laugh. Mark gets a
Yeah,
laugh, and he keeps going.
Yes, and then it would be nonstop. And then he'd get to the point where he's almost crying. He's laughing so loud.
Yes. Many times. Actually, many times I remember him doing that.
Isn't that so funny, Daddy? You just like were asking me to share stories, and I was going to share about that whole advice and how much you love doing football. But just that got brought up and thinking about that, because I'm like, you know what? That's really, it's so funny.
And you were the one guy, that one baby boy that he said, must be a football player. Look at the shoulders on that boy.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember that. That's just the story I've been told, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably couldn't really hear that in the recording, but apparently when I came out, I just, he's like, oh, look at this guy. He's going to be the next BYU football player. Look at the shoulders on that boy. Sure enough, he was right. And
Yep.
I had very close. It is interesting that he delivered me, but he also delivered me amazing and incredible advice, and was always supportive, and not only bringing me into this earth, but into my endeavors in life. So,
you know what? Kathy's going to love this. So I'm glad that you said that. It's 12 minutes long, so I'm going to not make him go longer.
No,
but
we said a lot, and we kind of, but yeah, you can stop this one.
All right. Thanks, Seth. Kathy,
Of course.
here it goes to you.